So I'm totally enjoying creating these courses, and I think this course is an illustration, an exemplification of how software development works. And I love the way Caleb, it still totally stands out to me, and I know this is a known metaphor for software development, but in many fields of engineering, when you build a project, like if you're building a building, you build the building, and then you're done building the building, and then people use it. But in software development, it's like, it's kind of like building an airplane and getting it just, this is the way Caleb described it, getting it just barely to the point where it could fly. And then you take off on a journey across the country and you build the rest of the plane while you're in flight.
Yes.
And that's kind of how this course has been going. And I love it because you get this natural experience and you get to see the struggles and see how we work through them. And I think there's a lot of value. And I also really am appreciating how you're able to show something and do it in a faster way, but then I'm able to come in and slow it down enough so that I understand it because I don't have the in the trenches, in the arena dev experience that you've got. And so I think this is a really cool combination, and it's a bit of an experiment because not a lot of classes are created this way. And I hope you're enjoying it and hope it's valuable to you. And if you do like it, I wasn't planning on doing this, didn't start out as a pitch, but if you do like it, leave us a 5-star review so that other students find the class. That's how those algorithms work, as you probably know. And if you have suggestions for improvement, message me on Twitter or send me an email, Todd, T-O-D-D, McLeod, M-C-L-E-O-D, @gmail.com, M-C-L-E-O-D. You could find my name on Twitter and then just add gmail.com is my email. Always open to suggestions for improvement. And so part of this is, as we've been building this course, I think we'll start out in the future with our courses and have them be just generally named, not quite so specific, because this class has really turned into authentication, encryption, JWT, and then we're going to do some OAuth with you. And so that's what this course has turned out to be. And we thought we were done with the hands-on exercises, but then Daniel went home, and the next day he came back and he was like, hey, you know what we need to also do? And so that's what we got now, another hands-on exercise. And what is what we also need to do here?
So we never really showed how to log out.
Yes.
So I'll explain the exercise then. So you're going to need a new form. You're going to need a new form on the index page. It'll just have a submit button. You'll probably want to label it logout. And it should just send a post request to /logout. There'll be no inputs or data or anything. You're just doing a post request to log out. And then at logout, you'll want to delete the session from the sessions map. This would be also how you'd remotely log someone out if you had remote logout, or if you wanted to have their sessions timeout, just delete the session from the sessions map. But then since they explicitly did the logout, you can also set the cookie to be deleted.
Sweet. So that's their hands-on exercise. And pause this video. Go do that hands-on exercise. When you're all done now, y'all, come on back. And we are going to show you our solution, which we're going to do right now. Aren't we? Unless you have something more to say. I felt like I came in kind of close right behind when you were talking. That's part of a little bit being socially challenged. I don't always know when to, or don't have the instinct for that. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is make sure that I've got my
You need to get in the right folder.
Yeah. And this is Go Lang Arc. Is that the one we're doing? And,
Yep.
And yeah, that looks like temp HTML. And then I'm going to do a git pull, just make sure I'm current, and git status, just because of Voodoo Computing. That actually was relevant, git status, because I could pull nothing to pull. But then status, would that have been
Status
right?
might tell you if you've got some files that you've changed but haven't pushed.
And we don't need this temp HTML, though it might be useful for me to build my form, just so I could do that. And so I guess maybe I'll just start out with building the form. There's many roads to roam, and the action is going to be log out, and the method is going to be post, and then I'm going to have input, and it's going to be submit, and then can you put text on the button as opposed to just having it be submit on the button?
Yeah, I don't remember the it's an HTML attribute for it.
Seeing if I have any here.
I don't think it's
I got a whole lot of ons.
Oh
part,
yeah.
placeholder, read only, required size, spell check, step style, tab index, value. No, that's what gets sent
no,
over.
that might be it for submit type.
Is this it? And then how
Yep,
can I preview?
that is.
Oh, that's it?
Just looked it up. Yep.
All right, sweet. I wonder how I preview that. Open in Reveal and Explorer. I don't know how to preview that in.
There you
Oh,
go.
is this it? That's
Yep.
totally cool. I love it when a plan comes together. And so that'll be my logout. And so now I'm going to create a new endpoint. And that's going to be logout. And that will be logout. And register, login, and just because it is like symmetry in terms of logic, I think I'll put it there because you log out after you've registered and you logged in. And then we have index, and we have beneath that register, and then beneath that we have login, and then beneath that we have our functions for session. And I think I'll keep this, and this is where you could start to see, you know, you're going to break things up into packages or different files. Like this stuff might be good to pull into another file.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm
those
going to
two.
bring that into another file and just make sure I got the right stuff. And Control X, and I'll create a new file here, Golang Arc, and that new file will be called. We've got main.go, and this is going to be session.
Those are your token functions.
Token.go.
Yeah.
And this is going to be package main also. And then drop all that down and save it, and it brings in all my imports, and then save over here, and it cleans up my imports. And then we're going to have func logout, and that's going to be hp.response writer. It actually makes me happy when I write this, and because I know some people complain about writing redundant code. You know, like I write this all the time, response writer and request. But for me, it makes me happy because I feel like I have a little mastery. I'm like, I know what I'm doing on this one. It makes me happy. I know what those are. All right, and so with logout, let's just take a look back at our things. We've added this, and you know, we're adding the logout, and then the new input logout. Oh, we got to add in our submit button. We didn't add that, so we got to add our submit button to the main page, which is right up here. And main one is going to be register. Yes, because when we're on register, that's your, no, it's just going to be index.
Yeah.
And so here we have our HTML, and we have register, we have login, and we'll do H1.
Hi.
I know, it's a high, like some freeway thing or something. Like I'm on Highway W, and then we'll put our form there, and we'll call this logout. LG out, and so we're done with token. We're done with the temp HTML, and now we got to go do. So does that first part?
Yeah.
Should have a submit button labeled logout and should post to logout.
Yep.
And now add an endpoint logout. Delete the session of the current user from the sessions map. So I just want to look at that again to kind of see what it is. We have sessions, and then we have map, and it's a key of a string, and then it's storing a string struct. Hold on, wait a second. No, it's storing a string, and this is creating a value of this type. So it's initializing it. That's what the word I was going for. So it's a map with a key of string and a value of string, and the key is their email, and then the key is their session ID, and the string is their email, and that goes to that one here.
Yep.
So I'm just going to make a note here.
Yep.
And the key is session ID, and value is email. And so you can see how those kind of connect.
So yeah, I find it a good rule of thumb whenever you make a map like this to just stick a comment like that there, just to remind yourself what those two types mean.
Yes.
So I frequently do that whenever I need to map in my code. I'll just stick a comment right above it saying what the key and value are supposed to be.
I love it when me, the novice intro programming teacher, gets when I do something that the professional dev is like, I do that too. That's awesome.
Yep, do it. Keep doing that. It's good.
That's awesome. So I'm going to pull my cookie, and then when I pull my cookie, that will give me my session ID, if there is a session ID, And so I'm just looking at what code I want to copy here. And so this gives me my cookie, and if there's an error, I'm creating a cookie with session ID of nothing. And then with my session ID, I'm going to be able to delete from the map. And so I think all I need is that. I don't need to do any of the parsing or anything like that.
Except the
do
cookie
I?
value is the JWT token, not your session ID
Dang
directly.
it!
So you do need the parse token.
Okay, so I'm going to parse it. That's right, and then that gives me my session ID, and then with that session ID, that's what's stored in the
Yes.
map right there, sessions map.
Correct.
And then this is my email, and then if E is equal to sessions ID, I'm assigning there. Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm going to grab this and go down to logout and drop that in, and just look through it again to make sure that it all looks good. R cookie session ID C, and then this, if it's nothing, it creates a value. If there is no cookie, creates a value of nothing. And I'm going to parse token, and I'm going to pass in that cookie value and parse token. When you pass in that cookie value, we pass it in here as ST, and then ST goes into parse with claims, and then we give it custom claims, and custom claims is at the package level. Custom claims is, hold on, custom claims is right here.
You might want to pull that over to your token go
Yeah,
too.
I think that would make more sense over there.
Because
Huh?
that's the only place it's used is in those two functions. So
And I'll bring it over there. And so we have our custom claims, and we have this function, which again, in the night, I was thinking about. And so this function is used by here, and this, when we pass this function in, it allows us to add in some functionality. And we just got to remember, we just have to return a key, which could be of any type, and a error. And the JWT token that gets passed in is it takes this string and it uses that token, which it pulls out this string, right, which is JWT, and puts that in there. And so passes the token in that was pulled out of this passes at the JWT token. So that JWT token, jwt.io, is, this is the entire string right there that gets passed in. We pass it in here, and then when it gets that string, it's got the header, the payload, and the verified signature. And so all of that, it's encoded here, right? That's encoded. And then all of that can be passed into here. That whole thing gets passed in as a token. That's all the token, all of it. It includes all of that. So this is the token.
that's the encoded token.
Encoded token.
And then it parses it and puts the decoded token into the function.
And by parsing it, it's taking it out of, this is stored as base 64.
Correct.
And so all JWT tokens are stored as base 64?
Yes.
Okay, so it takes it out of base 64, and then it passes the decoded token into here, right? And then from in here, we could look at the alg, and so there's the alg. And so we say, hey, this token method alg, and we compare it to the alg that we used.
Yep.
And then it also has, I'm just looking at the key here.
Key. They don't pass the key.
Yeah,
You
they
provide
don't.
the key.
They don't pass the key. We have the key, and so we should probably put our key over here too.
Yeah.